Man, the Democratic Party has really fallen apart since that debate. I haven't seen liberals this panicked since Taylor Swift ran out of red lipstick. People are nervous. I'm hearing a lot of them want to leave the country if Trump wins. But where to go? Where to go? I got it. Cuba. Cuba. Let's go to Cuba. It's close by, nice weather, easy to take over. Here's the plan. If Trump wins, anyone who wants to out of the country goes to Cuba. I'll rent you the inner tube. You got to go one at a time, though, so no one notices. For every American that goes to Cuba, you got to send one back with your identity to sneak in. This should be easy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this how Scientology started? Yes, but also keep in mind the population of Cuba is 11 million. So everyone who wants in may not be able to get in. Book your inner tube early.
Just graduated fresh on campus. Fresh out East Atlanta with no mountains down.
Where do I start? Where do I start, comparison group? I really thought I wouldn't have much interest in continuing to talk about this debate at this point. But the reaction, the overreaction, the stupidity, the nonsense coming out of that debate is astounding. Can I make a suggestion? Can I just make a suggestion? You know the show's about suggestions, ideas, and solutions. Can I make a suggestion for Democrats?
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Shut up. Just shut up. I've never seen so much nonsense. Shut up long enough to give yourself some time to think. Stop talking long enough to give yourself some time to think. I mean, who comes out in the middle of the debate to contact the media of all people? Who are all of these high-ranking Democratic officials who were in the middle of the debate before the debate was even over, texting the media to tell them how worried they were about Biden's performance? Who are these people? That's like texting your wife's best friend in the middle of cheating on your wife and telling your wife's best friend, I'm cheating on her. Don't you think she might tell your wife? I mean, who does that? What kind of politicians are these people? And then right after the debate, okay, let's all try and come up with ideas of how we can get rid of Joe Biden. Shut up. Shut up long enough to think about what you're saying. Just take your medicine. That's what you got to do. I got several suggestions. At the end, I'm going to get to the title of the show, Who Really Can Replace Biden? I'm going to give you my suggestion there, too, and my solution. I got plenty of suggestions and solutions for the Democrats. But another one I'll give you is take your medicine. What's medicine? Medicine is to make you feel better. It's to fix you. So after this debate, you got to take your medicine. You got to listen to people tell you what you got wrong and why you got it wrong. Now, there's a legitimate question, fair question, I would say, if you're on the Democratic side, that came up after the debate. And that question is, how come the Republicans aren't saying Trump needs to step aside? How come the Republicans aren't feeling the need to replace their candidate? Fair question, and I'm going to give you the answer to that question, and it's your medicine, and you got to take your medicine. Why should Trump step aside? He won the debate. Why should the Republicans be looking to replace the guy who won the debate? Clearly won the debate. Based on all the polls, won the debate. Why should he have to step aside? Oh, well, now hold on here, comparison group guy. Trump lied 30 times in 90 minutes. Everything Trump said was a lie. He's a pathological liar. He continuously lied throughout that debate. Oh, okay. Do me a favor and send me all the clips prior to the debate that said Donald Trump's objective in the debate is to show the American people he can be honest. Go ahead. I'll wait. Send me all the clips from conservative media, liberal media that said Donald Trump has got to come across as honest. Oh, you can't find any? Well, okay, now send me the clips from media saying Joe Biden's objective is to show the American people he's got the energy and stamina and cognitive ability to do this job for another 4 years. Whether you like it or not, Trump met his objective and Biden failed miserably to meet his. The objective set by everyone prior to the debate, set by the media, the political world, everyone. There was no one saying Donald Trump has got to come out of this debate looking honest. There was nobody saying that. Nobody. I told you before the debate, Trump's debate prep consisted of pleading with him just to stay on message, just control himself. Her name is Dana, not Dana. What? Her name is Dana, not Dana. What? Her name is Dana, not Dana. Every time Dana Bash directed a question at Trump, there was a fear he'd say, Dana, on CNN, you're like a 7, but on Fox News, you'd be like a 4. That's the bar for Trump, like it or not. That's his bar. Just don't say something ridiculously offensive that turns off everyone. That's all he's got to do. Just control himself. Don't let the N-word slip out at some point to nobody. Just random. That's all he had to do. That's his bar, like it or not. And he met the bar. He met the challenge. He controlled himself. And that made Biden's performance look 10 times worse. So that's why the Republican, they don't have to ask for that guy to step aside. He did what they wanted him to do. Now, Biden's debate prep and his team, that's the other thing I'm hearing a lot about. People saying, hey, don't blame the prep. Don't blame Joe Biden's team. You got both from the Democrats. Some are saying that Biden's team should take some blame, and some are saying that you shouldn't. Let me play a clip from when I interviewed my dad, because I asked him about this. It got cut from the episode, so you haven't heard it. But let me play a clip from that interview when I asked my dad about the debate. Listen to this. I don't want to forget to ask you this. I asked you this off the air. I want to ask you on the air. I asked you, what do you think about the debate rules that Biden's coming up with? Turn off the microphones, no third-party candidate, no audience. What do you think about those rules? Agree or disagree with them?
I agree with them considering the first debates that they had, how immature, how rude, how ignorant Donald Trump is and was. He's going to talk over you. He's going to try to make you look like an idiot while he's the idiot. So you can't go by the old debate rules because Donald Trump is just so rude and ignorant and all about himself. He won't talk issues because he doesn't have any answer for the issues. He doesn't even know what the issues are. So he has to just name call and belittle. And that's what he's all about. So yeah, I would say you have to go with those rules of no audience, turn the mic off, because of Donald Trump's pitiful personality.
I guess we'll just disagree on this one. I asked a couple other people, and they gave me the same answer. They think it's a good idea to turn his microphone off. I don't. I think let Donald Trump be Donald Trump. He only hurts himself. So we talked a little more about it, and I think I went on to say something about how I didn't feel like Trump's campaign was all that upset about the rule to mute his microphone. I think they were thrilled with that. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't be the only one that remembers back on those couple of debates that Trump had with Biden before, the first debate, and when he debated Hillary, they had to bring him in and chain him to the floor like King Kong. I mean, they had to sedate him. He was so out of control. I remember talking about it back then. And then when they put in some rules, they put some constraints on him, like muting the microphone in the, I guess it was a CNN debate, the second debate they had for 2020 with Kristen Welker. He did better. Trump actually did better. I can't be the only one that remembers that he did better when he had some constraints put on him. So I felt like it was a huge mistake to do that. And that interview I did was back right when they announced the debate and the rules. It was as soon as I heard it, I said, boy, I don't think that's a good idea. But in addition to that, talking about Biden's team and advisors, should they accept any of the blame for what happened, Donald Trump said something interesting during the debate that maybe meant something, maybe not. Listen to this.
We had H2O. We had the best numbers ever. And we were using all forms of energy, all forms, everything. And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage, actually.
So that was Trump getting around to answering a question about the environment. And I don't know. He was talking about H2O. Don't make me fact check it. I don't know. The point is, when he said, my top environmental people gave me that stat right before I walked out here, that jumped out to me. Right in the moment, when I heard it in the debate, that jumped out to me. My top environmental people gave me that stat right before I walked out here. I have to wonder, is that Trump's team understanding their guy? Understanding. Give him 5 or 6 bits of information right before he goes on stage, and that's it. Anything you tell him more than 5 minutes before he walks on that stage is a waste of time. He's not going to remember it. Here's a couple of pieces of information, Mr. Trump. Hammer immigration, and her name is Dana, not Dana. That's it. And keep your cool. Please, keep your cool. So, did Joe Biden's team know their guy? Did they prepare him based on his strengths and weaknesses? Did they prepare him for the opponent he would face? Did they have a clear and concise message and hammer it into his head? Stay on this message, Mr. President? I heard one liberal podcaster, big podcast, say of Donald Trump, he was relentlessly on message. That's what this liberal podcaster said about Donald Trump. He was relentlessly on message. Everything came back to immigration. Everything. Now, when I was watching the debate, I was saying to myself, like maybe you were saying, this guy's got nothing but immigration. Everything is immigration to him. He keeps coming back to immigration. But for political people, they see that and go, man, he stayed relentlessly on message. And so maybe it wasn't effective for anybody who wanted to hear something else from him, but it was effective in keeping him from straying into somewhere maybe they didn't want him to go. Again, like it or not, take the medicine. Trump stayed on message, which meant he stayed focused for most of that debate, whereas Biden was all over the place. He was all over the place to the point you don't remember anything but his worst moments. To me, that goes back to a lack of preparation by his team, by his advisors. A lack of prep that goes back to not doing the Super Bowl interviews, which are usually done by presidents on a less than friendly network. That's kind of been the tradition the last few years. Obama did them, Trump did them. Biden hasn't done them. Didn't do the pre-Super Bowl interview. As far as I know, unless I missed it, he hasn't done any town halls with any even remotely conservative hosts like a Neil Cavuto or a Brett Baer, who are conservative, but they're centrist. They're center-right people. Give him a fair town hall. He hasn't even gone somewhere like News Nation, as far as I know, who states that they're a moderate news outlet. News Nation. Go talk to the disgraced Cuomo over there, at least. He barely does any press briefings where he can take a multitude of questions from various networks. Doesn't even do that. Don't you think any of that would have helped him prepare for the debate? But his team kept him from it. And now, after the complete meltdown of the Democratic Party, his team announces, okay, we're going to do a big interview. We're going to do a big interview, get Joe out of his comfort zone. I said, okay, finally. They're realizing they need to get him onto Fox News. And where do they go? They go to ABC to talk to George SNUFFLEUPAGUS. Same old. We're going to go to ABC and sit down with George SNUFFLEUPAGUS. And what was the outcome? What was the result from what I'm seeing initially? Thumbs down. Thumbs down, not great. Anyone looking to just say, he recovered, he did well, he finished his sentences, they're looking for some praise for Biden. They'll give the praise. But other people out there, they're going, he really didn't fix anything. He really didn't show a whole lot of oomph in his answers. He still came across as weak and tired. So it didn't really fix anything. Now, George SNUFFLEUPAGUS was fine. He tried to be tough. He asked Biden some tough questions. And, Biden just listen, he came in there knowing what the topic was going to be about for the entire 22-minute interview. It was going to be about the debate and can you still be president? So even under the best of circumstances, against a guy that Biden could be comfortable with, wasn't going to get really tripped up with anything. He knew what the topic he was going there to discuss. He didn't wow anybody. He didn't, in my opinion, set aside any doubts about whether he could do the job. And as I said, just the initial things I'm seeing, one website, the Young Turks, which they're Democrats, so they say, but they're super progressive Democrats. It would appear after this interview, if Biden hadn't lost him before, he's lost him now. I mean, they really ripped him in the interview. The headline, the title of this YouTube clip, if I can remember, it was something like Biden struggles to keep his excuses straight in ABC interview. It was something like that if you want to look it up. Young Turks. Biden struggles to keep his excuses straight in ABC interview. That's not a glowing review. And like I said, they're Democrats. But they've turned the page on Biden to, we told you so. These are progressives kind of doing that whole told you so thing. You should have given us Elizabeth Warren. You should have given us Bernie Sanders. Like Bernie Sanders is a young man. Bernie Sanders is 175 years old. But that's what they're saying. They're doing a, we told you so. You should have given us the progressive that we wanted. So he's lost them. Lost them after this ABC interview. It didn't help. But perhaps the best line that I saw that came out after this ABC interview, maybe I think it was a tweet. Someone said, the problem for Joe Biden is Father Time is undefeated. The problem for Joe Biden is Father Time is undefeated. And boy, is that true. How many times have we seen it? People may have the heart to keep going. They may have even the brain power to keep going. But the body just won't cooperate. The words just won't come out. The legs just won't stay steady. The reaction time just ain't what it used to be. So as much as Joe Biden believes in his heart of heart that he can do the job for another 4 years, Father Time just may not let him. And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about he just may not be able to do it. He has to accept that. He has to accept that reality. He just may not be able to physically do it for 4 more years. And the Democratic Party has to accept that. Joe Biden may not be able to do this the way he's doing it now for another 4 years. And again, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about what if his doctors say, Joe, you need to take time off. You've been going too hard for too long. You got to take a month off. You got to take 2 months off. So we have to consider that. Is that something that we want to see? If in 2 years, come time for the midterms, and he says, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to step aside now. Is that what we're betting on? That he does it then? So there's a lot of things to consider and there's a lot of things to think about. And so here I am, because I guess I got to do it. Nobody else can do it. None of these people Joe Biden has around him can do it. Nobody in the Democratic Party can do it. So I guess I got to do it. I got to give you the answer. Who replaces Joe Biden? What's the solution? Once again, I'm the show for solutions. So here it goes. Who replaces Joe Biden? The answer, no one and a few people. No one and a few people. Let's remember, Donald Trump had Jared Kushner, and he had Ivanka. We don't really know what they did or even what their official jobs were in the White House, but they shouldered a lot of responsibility for Donald Trump. They weren't cabinet positions. They weren't really part of the government as best I could tell. They were what he called his advisors, senior advisors, if you want to call them that. So Joe should announce he's bringing on a couple of special senior advisors to shoulder some of the more day-to-day tasks of the presidency. Now listen to me. There's no way to make this look like Joe is not delegating some responsibility to unelected people because he's old. There's no way to make it look like that if that's not the case. So don't try and make it look like that's the case. People are going to say what they're going to say, particularly the people on the right. Let them say it. What you're trying to do is calm and settle down people on the left, people who are in the middle, people who weren't particularly thrilled to go out and vote for Joe Biden in the first place. People are scratching their heads now, wondering what to do. People who are thinking about replacing Biden on the Democratic ticket. Those are the people you're doing this for. Don't worry about what anyone else is going to say. You got to make it so that the people who are nervous are not nervous anymore, that you can beat Donald Trump. Remember, this is to beat Donald Trump. This is a strategy to calm people down, get them back on your side to beat Donald Trump. And if there's any Democrat out there who's already sucking their teeth at this idea, I don't know what they're putting in the water all of a sudden for Democrats, for some of these people out here. Like I said, shut up. Shut up and think about what I'm saying until you have an opinion on it. Because everything that I've been hearing, all these people running around with all their ideas on Twitter, on social media about how we should replace Joe Biden and who can replace Joe Biden. If Joe steps aside, he doesn't just disappear like Thanos at the end of the Avengers. Let me ask you a question. If Joe steps aside, will he be asked to campaign for his replacement? That'll be awkward. Will his replacement be on board with all of his policies? Or will they be more moderate on things like taxes and abortion, particularly if they come from a swing state like Michigan? Or maybe they'll be more progressive on immigration and social spending, which is sure to cost them some votes with the more moderate centrist people in the Democratic Party. Do we even know? Do we know where these potential replacements stand on these issues? Or are we just throwing out names of people who look good on camera and can complete a sentence? Some of these names being thrown out there, people don't even know. Don't even know. I'm not embarrassed to tell you. When I saw the first tweet recommending, right after the debate, recommending we replace Biden with Whitmer, I thought they were talking about Christy Todd Whitman. I said, oh, they want to switch to Christy Todd Whitman. It took me a minute to even figure out who Whitmer was. And I don't know anything about her. I know she's a governor from Michigan. That's it. That's it. That's all I know. And Trump people try to kill her. That's about it. Kidnapper, some one of those. But I don't know anything about her policies, where she stands on guns, immigration, abortion. I have no idea. I saw somebody tweet, let's go with a Whitmer Moore ticket. Whitman Moore. I said, who the heck is Moore? I don't know. You talking about Roger Moore? If you're going to get a James Bond, why not get Sean Connery or Daniel Craig? Why Roger Moore? I don't know who they're talking about, Moore. I said that to 5 people. I said they want to go with Whitmer Moore. And 5 people said to me, who's Moore? So yeah, I'm making a suggestion, but I don't know if it's any crazier than the suggestions that people have been making since the end of that debate. So hear me out. So I need Joe, and I need his team and his advisors to have the smarts and the humility that they've yet to show to admit he needs help and announce he's creating a couple of new advisory positions. And who he picks is critical, absolutely critical. I'm an obvious first choice, but don't ask me. I ain't doing it. So who then? Who? It could be somebody who's already in his cabinet that could be assigned to this new position. Like, say, Gina Raimondo, I believe is her name, Secretary of Commerce. Look her up. She's been doing a fantastic job as Secretary of Commerce. They had a nice little piece on her on 60 Minutes not a couple of months ago. Gina Raimondo, Raimondo, Secretary of Commerce. She could be considered for this new advisory position. How about Mayor Pete? They've been throwing his name out there. Mayor Pete, Secretary of Transportation. How about Arati let's call her Arati P. She is the head of the Office of Science and Technology Policy and Tech Policy. Let me see. Let me tell you a little bit about this office and about Arati P. The Office of Science and Technology Policy mission includes providing advice to the President and the Executive Office of the President on matters related to science and technology, strengthening and advancing American science and technology, working with federal departments and agencies with Congress to create bold visions, unified strategies, clear plans, wise policies, and effective, equitable programs for science and technology. The office has 6 core teams: climate and environment, health outcomes, industrial innovation, national security, science and society, and technology. The office also houses or supports the President and First Lady's Cancer Moonshot. This is stuff they're working on. President's Council of Advisors on Science Technology, National Science and Technology Council, the National Artificial Intelligence Initiative Office, National Quantum Coordination Office, National Nanotechnology Coordination Office, Arctic Executive Steering Committee, doing some pretty important stuff. Let me tell you about our Roddy P., Director of White House Office of Science and Technology and Assistant to the President for Science Technology. In this capacity, Prab Hakar is the President's Chief Advisor for Science Technology, a member of the President's Cabinet, and co-chair of the President's Council of Advisors on Science Technology. An engineer and applied physicist with broad management and leadership experience, Arati P. has led 2 different federal R&D agencies and worked with startups, large companies, universities, government labs, and nonprofits across a wide variety of sectors to create new solutions for critical challenges. She served as director of DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, from 2012 to 2017. In 1993, she was confirmed by the Senate as director of the National Institute of Standards and Technology, becoming the first woman to lead the agency. Between that, listen, worked for 15 years in Silicon Valley. Yeah, this is someone I would consider to be put in a new advisory position to Joe Biden in his next administration. She's in a great position now. I'll bump her up to a new advisory position. I would consider her. Yeah, oh yeah, I would. That would make me feel more comfortable about electing Joe Biden if Arati P. is working in an advisory role right next to him, shouldering some of the day-to-day responsibilities. How about Brenda Mallory as a close advisor? She's chair on the Council on Environmental Quality. She's got the same great background. I'm not going to read it to you. Another great person. She's already in the administration, but she can be moved into a new capacity, and that would hopefully calm some of the fears of the more progressive base that's out there, because she's very progressive in what she's doing on the Council of Environmental Quality. Now, you want to throw some more names in there? Feel free. You want to go outside of people who are already in Biden's administration? Let's get some names going, but for this position, this advisory position. You want to throw Whitmer's name in there as a candidate? Go ahead. I don't think she would want it versus being governor, but go ahead. Throw whoever's name you want in there, but stop throwing their names out as replacements for Joe Biden. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. You don't need a replacement for Joe Biden. You need an out-of-the-box strategy where you say, here's the deal. Here are the people that we're suggesting in a new advisory role for Joe Biden in his second term. Somewhat similar to what Donald Trump had with Jared Kushner and Ivanka. Keep going back to that. Keep going back to that. Hey, this isn't new. Trump kind of did it, didn't he? They were advisors, Ivanka and Jared, but yet they weren't really like advisors as in the head of the office of this or the office of that or the head of this or the head of that. They were just people he just made his advisors. You'll succeed in taking the pressure off any potential replacements, because now they're not replacements running for president. They're just a new select team of advisors. So less scrutiny. And any complaints you get about unelected people having so much power, like I said, you remind them, hey, some of these people are Senate confirmed and have full security clearances, unlike Jared, who was not confirmed, elected, or granted a security clearance. Trump just gave him a security clearance. Does this make any sense? Does this sound like it's at least an idea to consider rather than whatever the heck is going on right now in the Democratic Party? Do you need me to run through it, Biden team? Do you need me to run through this for you, Biden advisors, who are supposedly doing such a great job? Do you need my direct number so I can explain this stuff to you when the need comes? It's 1-800-GET-YOUR ACT TOGETHER. That's my direct number. There's got to be somebody out there listening who can get this information to them. You announce a new advisory team for Biden's second term, Mayor Pete, Gina Raimondo, Arati P., 3 or 4 people reporting directly to Kamala Harris, who reports directly to Joe Biden, easing the burden on day-to-day tasks for Biden, allowing him to focus on really important stuff. Never get more specific than that. Anyone asks you, what day-to-day task? Answer, it could be a myriad of things. Oh, can you give me an example? No, I can't see into the future, whatever comes up. Well, for instance, what will be a possible scenario? Stuff like Kushner and Ivanka did. Just always take it back there. Trump did it. So there's your answer. Who can replace Biden? No one has to, if you come up with a good strategy. Joe might need to get some good old boys around him. These Ivy League fools ain't doing him a bit of good.
I'm just trying to have a good time. Cigarette butts and moonshine. I'm going redneck tonight. I got my horse by my side, full tank of gas in my ride. Yeah. Take a look at what the industry did to me. I was drinking Hennessy.
Thanks for listening. I sure do appreciate it. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for following. Thank you for rating.
Cause I ain't going out like a rat or a punk. Don't be silly, man. I really gotta kill him when I'm loading up the semi. Hitting me, they cerebellum. I was raised on a farm in a city full of fellas. Keep a knife on deck like I'm trimming down a head. Sticky hanging out my mouth. I got Carhartt on my jacket. I was raised down in the southeast.
Saw some family this week. Always good to see the family. Family telling me they enjoyed the show. Didn't even know they were listening. I do appreciate that. Boy, do I appreciate that. Smart people.
Down that dirt road on a Sunday night with the windows rolled down on the countryside. Saw a reflection in the mirror and I thought, oh my, I said, ooh, pretty girl, you make me feel alright. Catch me drinking out the keg while my chick.
Told you the show's for smart people. I told you.
My age, but I'm pissed like every day.
Thanks for listening. Continue to share, continue to follow, continue to rate, and I'll continue doing shows. See you next time.
Shooting range, who's to blame? Headshot, I got stupid aim. I won't stop and Bruce the second. So by Ford and put a Hemi in my new Mustang. Yeah, I'm the real Garth Brooks of this rap shit to Billy Ray Cyrus. If he wanted, he can have it. I got Hannah Montana at my ranch getting hammered. I'm a savage, catch me hacking up wood, doing damage. All I'm saying is I ain't going out like that. Got a feather behind my ear beneath my cowboy hat. Got a years with a deer, you can count on that. Like a steakhouse, I'm out back. Let's have a good time. Cigarette butts and moonshine. I'm going redneck tonight. I got my horse by my side. Full tank of gas in my ride.